Shri Guruve Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimadhe Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashtasha Deshatharini. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Ki Jai. I will just sing this. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Uditayet Nastya Pravetrestu Adrishu Nityam Bhavata Sevaya Bhavati Uttama Sloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki Vancha Kalpadrubhusha Kripa Sindhu Evacha Patitanam Pavanepyo Vaishnavepyo Namo Namaha. So after singing this, I think you all would have guessed. So today's class would be around Srimad Bhagavatam. Yeah, right. You all able to see the picture right there? So this picture, what you all are seeing, what it says there, Srimad. Yeah, right. So this is one of the dearest. Sorry, my voice is not good. Please bear with me. I'll try my best. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So during the start of Kali Yuga, Narada Muni was, we all know, Narada Muni travels everywhere, like always. So during the Kali Yuga, like once Narada Muni was passing by and he was checking like, okay, it's a Kali Yuga, what all things, how bad it is happening, what it is, like let me check. So he was going around. But to the contrary of his thought, so he was seeing like everywhere like the devotees were flowing as such, like it could be the Radayatra in Jagannath Puri, like yes, hundreds and thousands of people are there, like and if you take like any temple, like wherever, like okay, everywhere he's seeing a lot of people as such. So he was like shocked, what's happening? Everyone is having tilak, kumkum, whatever you have to say, like they are following, many of them are following austerities. So things are like, he felt like so happy, and people are like also following four regulative principles too. So many of them are doing it. So he was confused like whether it is really a Kali Yuga or a Satya Yuga. So he was really confused. So what's happening? So okay, he said like, okay, let me now go to Goloka. And he saw Krishna. And he asked like, Krishna, like whatever I am seeing in Kali Yuga, everything is so good. So why don't you give me special quota like to bring many devotees, like so how many passports, visas like you are going to allocate? So he asked Krishna. Krishna mercifully said, you are my pure devotee. So you just take how many devotees you want to give. Get it? Yeah, you get it. Now we go Narada, go and see like, okay, what happens? So what happens next? Narada Muni again came back to the Kali Yuga. So he went to the people. He said like, hey, I had come here like to take you all go to the Goloka. So what happens? So then now Narada Muni started seeing the real picture of the people. Like, okay, many of them said like, most of them said like, okay, my daughter has to be married. My son has to be married. So and some said like, okay, my daughter has to be like, deliver a baby. Maybe after that, let me think about it. Like, so like that, everyone, most of them had reasons and reasons. Like, okay, they don't want to go back to Goloka. So they had reasons to stay back to this material world. But one first bench student said like, okay, Narada Muni, yes, I am ready to come over. Like, take me to Goloka. So, but he really did not know like what is Goloka, but he said like, okay, let me see like, okay, something different. But he asked me, he asked Narada Muni like, so what all things I can see there? So after, what is the plan? Like, what will I do there? So and he also asked Narada Muni, when can I come back? So, so he thought like it's a place where he will go and then what is the plan to come back? So he was not sure. So Narada Muni really said like, no, it is not the place. If you go to Goloka, it is not, you are not going to come back. It is yed gatvana nivartante. So once you go back, you are not going to come back. So that is where, that's what Narada Muni explained. Then he also, the first bench student also backed out now. Okay, even I can't go to Goloka. So not coming. So Narada Muni. So this is the real fact of Kali Yuga. So which we all should understand that. So, so here we should see like, so all people, they are all following rituals, following scriptures in a way like what really suits them. So a pious person follows that, but what they follow. So that's what before Srimad Bhagavata, if you follow other scriptures, what can it uplift? It can uplift one in the material platform. They can get better in the material life. But if one reads Srimad Bhagavatam really, what it can do? It can uplift or it can move out of you from this material world. So that is important. So Srimad Bhagavatam is the Amala Puran, the Purana which is spotless. So that is very much, we should understand that. And that's the importance we all should see. Like, this is Kali Yuga. We should really seriously take Srimad Bhagavatam into our life and read it, relish it, enjoy it, and then plan to go back to the Godhead. Right? And also like Prabhupada in one of his, he used to quote this like example like, so there was a candy man. A boy goes and keeps getting the candy from the local shop. And there is also a good shop. So the mom, she didn't know like, okay, he gets the pocket money, he gets a candy from the local shop because it's only like much cheaper than the regular shop as such. So he went, he keeps doing it. So one day the mom really found out like, okay, what is he doing? Then the mom suggested him, hey, don't get this candy from this particular shop. Like, it's not really healthy. You see like it's full of flies around like. So it is like for 25 paisa, like you can get a candy or whatever, but it is not good for your health. So that is important. He said like, the boy said to mom, if you go to the that big shop, like he's going to charge you like 20 rupees. But mom said, you don't have to be worried. So even if it's 20 rupees, it's fine. I will get you from there, because that is trusted and it's given in a way like how it is taken care. And also like it's a mom's love, like mom know really what is good and bad for her kid as such. So that is important. That's how Prabhupada compares the Srimad Bhagavatam. So Srimad Bhagavatam is the important Purana, like yes, which we all have to really read it and relish it. Okay. Right. So this is not the class. So this is just a beginning. So now we will go to the real class. Like, so today class, what I thought to give is, this is on Prahlada Maharaj, life lessons from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7. So this is what the real class is going to be. So we will start from glorifying the Prahlada Maharaj. I need help with someone like who can help me in reading this, if the sloka. Yeah. Is it better, Prabhuji? Yes. Anyone want to volunteer? Priyadhina Vatsalaha Prahatsadrini Gurushvishvara Bhavanaha Vidyandra Rupa Janmadyo Mana Vivadradha. Thank you. Okay. If you see the translations, we'll read the qualities of Maharaj Prahlad. The qualities of Maharaj Prahlada, the son of Hiranyakashipu, are described herewith. He was completely cultured as a qualified Brahmana, even though he is born from a Asura family, having very good character and being determined to understand the absolute truth. He had full control of his senses and mind. Like the super soul, he was kind to every living entity and was the best friend of everyone. To respectable persons, he acted exactly like a menial servant. To the poor, he was like a father. To his equals, he was attached like a sympathetic brother. And he considered his teachers, spiritual masters, and older god brothers to be as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He was completely free from unnatural pride that might have arisen from his good education, riches, beauty, aristocracy, and so on. So we can talk Prahlad Maharaj qualities like so many. So wonderful. Nice. Now we will go to the real lessons. So what I thought was like today class, so I'll combine with the pastime and we will see like, okay, what are the lessons we can learn along with the story. Right. So first one is lesson on austerity. Spiritual life means tapasya. Right. So we all know Hiranyakashipu, before he went to Mantara mountain to start his tapasya, what happened before? Why he has to do that? So his brother was killed, Hiranyaksha. Right. So he was so devastated. Even though Hiranyakashipu spoke to console his mother, his relatives, his own sister-in-law, like, okay, death is inevitable. So he gave all the great philosophies to his families and friends, whatever. But when it came to him now, because who killed Hiranyaksha? Vishnu killed him. So now he has to take a revenge back. So that's where he did not follow what he has preached. So now he is going to a point like, okay, now I have to kill his own enemy, which he thought is Lord Vishnu. So he has gone to Mantara mountain to start the tapasya. And his mood was like, yes, he want to do the tapasya and he want to achieve as like the power of Lord Brahma, like Brahmaji also. So that's how like his mood was always there. Like, okay, when he become so powerful, and main thing he wanted to achieve is immortality. He want to beat the death. He should not, he doesn't want to die at all. So, which is impossible, but yes, that's what his whole thought was. So that's where Hiranyakashipu, yes, has to leave his family, and then he went to Mantara mountain to start the tapasya. So on this tapasya went for how many years? 10,000 years. I think 100 celestial years or 10,000 years, like, yes, that's how like he went there. So during the time, so this is how like by end of tapasya, like how Hiranyakashipu was looking. But during the time of tapasya, this because it's like 10,000 years, so long, what happened? Like, because his tapasya, he was doing tapasya with one leg and then lifting his hands. So with his tapasya, like, okay, he was so strong in it, like, okay, the fire started coming from his head, half of his body was vanished. So all the three universes like were trembling as such. Like it was really having a struggle. What's going on around? Like, okay, what is, then the devatas all were like so much struggling, like what's going around? What should we do now? They all went to Brahmaji and then asked like, okay, we are all really struggling. So can you help to stop Hiranyakashipu? So that's where, okay, then Brahma, after listening everything, yes, with his Vagna like swan, he went along with Brihamuni. So he went to meet Hiranyakashipu. So he even went to Mantara mountain, and even Brahmaji was searching for Hiranyakashipu, where he is actually. Because Hiranyakashipu was almost with the ant hill, like, yeah, he was almost covered with everything. And obviously half of his body or most of his body was out of it. It's only bones. Even with the bones, his austerity, like he was performing such a great tapasya. So even Brahmaji was trying to locate him. Finally, they located him. And then, yes, then Brahmaji was, oh, okay, here, Hiranyakashipu, you are here. So let me make you better now. Okay, he with his Kamandalu, like, okay, he has sprinkled water on Hiranyakashipu. Okay, he then became as a young man. Okay, by seeing that, what did we'll read here? I'll read the translation in keeping in the mind of time. So here, O best of the Asuras, for this reason, I am now prepared to give you all benedictions according to your desire. I belong to the celestial world of demigods who do not die like human beings. Therefore, although you are subject to death, your audience with me will not go in vain. What is next? Grant me that I do not die with any residence or outside any residence, during the daytime or at night, nor on the ground or in the sky. Grant me that my death not be brought by any being other than those created by you, nor by the weapon, nor by any human being or animal. Again, he's asking, grant me that I do not meet death from any entity, living or non-living. Grant me further that I not be killed by any demigod or demon or any great snake from the lower planets. Since no one can kill you in the battlefield, you have no competitor. Therefore, grant me the benediction that I too may have no rival. Give me sole lordship over all the living entities and presiding deities. And give me all the mystic powers attained by long austerities and the practice of yoga, for these cannot be lost any time. So after hearing this, what Brahmaji would have thought, like, this is impossible to achieve. But Brahmaji came to meet him, and then with no choice, he also promised him, like, okay, now come back to your original position, and then you ask me whatever you want, let me give you. Okay, he had asked now. So what did Brahma do now? Yes, he said, O Hiranyakashipu, these benedictions for which you had asked are difficult to obtain for most men. Nonetheless, O my son, I shall grant you them, although they are generally not available. It is not easy. Even actually, Devatas are not happy to grant boons to Asuras, but sometimes they are obliged with no choice. So that's where it's very difficult situation, like, because he performed such a great austerity, tapasya, and then Brahmaji had no choice other than to grant him. So with this, the first lesson is going to end. So we will see the realization, like what we can take away from this for ourselves. So lesson on austerity. Actually, Prabhupada says very clearly, spiritual life means tapasya. That's what for us he has given us. So austerity or tapasya means voluntarily taking up some inconvenience on oneself for a higher purpose. Austerity performed for selfish and evil purposes, mainly Hiranyakashipu did for ego and power, disturbs the world. But when austerity is performed to worship the Lord, it creates peace and prosperity for one and all, which Prahlada Maharaj was following. Hiranyakashipu performed austerities to become immortal, but death is unavoidable. Despite one's intelligent plans to be immortal, one cannot escape the laws of nature that work under God's control. Instead of performing austerities to escape the death in this temporary world, if one performs devotional service to the Lord, one can attain the death-free spiritual kingdom. So that's what we all should pray for it. So let's do our tapasya on Lord's name for this Kali Yuga by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And here Prabhupada very clearly says, because spiritual life means tapasya. Formerly great saintly persons, they all underwent very severe tapasya for thousands of years and hundreds of years. Then they attained success in a way, like, yes, which we can see. But in Kali Yuga, it is not possible to undergo such tapasya. There is a concession he gave, he says. The concession is that you live a pure life and chant Hare Krishna mantra, this will be sufficient. Prabhupada declares it's very nicely. Right. So now Hiranyakashipu got all his boon. So let's see what is next lesson, how it moves. Demonizing divine boons. Misusing power leads to destruction, actually. So if one gets a power, what happens? So one can use it right also, one can use it in a bad way also. That's how the power makes all the challenges. So now, for example, even our own president makes the power like, okay, what all can be done? Yes, everything. Yes. So it is a fact, actually. So it can be in either the way as such taken. So now Hiranyakashipu got everything, and he now felt after Brahmaji gave his boon, like, okay, now whatever you asked, you are given. So what happened? His complexion changed to a golden complexion, and his strength has become so immense. He's become so powerful. Like, okay, and to prove his powerfulness and see, like, okay, to test himself, like, what's going on, he started going and acquiring all the three worlds as such. So which we will see here. Hiranyakashipu became the conqueror of the entire universe. Indeed, that great demon conquered all the planets in the three worlds, upper, middle, and the lower, including the planets of the human beings, the Gandharvas, the Garudas, the great serpents, the Siddhas, Charanas, and Vidyadharas, the great saints, Yamaraja, the Manus, the Yakshas, the Rakshasa, the Pishashas, and their masters, and the masters of the ghost and bhutas. He defeated the rulers of all the other planets where there are living entities and brought them under his control. Conquering the abodes of all, he seized their power and influence. Yes, he started showing his power. Not only that, now we'll see Hiranyakashipu, who possessed all opulence, began residing in heaven. Wow. With its famous Nandana garden, which is enjoyed by the demigods. In fact, he resided in the most opulent palace of Indra, the king of heavens. The palace had been directly constructed by the demigod architect Vishwakarma and was beautifully made as if the goddess of fortune of the entire universe resided there. We all know the pastime like in Govardhana pastime where Indra lifted his eyebrows, the sun, the rain and flood, water, whatnot has come in. But Hiranyakashipu here showing his power like by lifting his eyebrows, like, okay, he is giving challenge to Indra itself, like, okay, what's going on? But if you read the Bhagavatam, when I was reading, it is so relishing that Indra's palace, how it is all built, it could be a gold, pearls, what not like. But today, yes, I know the difficulty of buying even a single gram is like difficulty. But yes, that's how it is. Now we cannot imagine how this world is, how the Devata's world, and then how it is Devata's area only. Now when we go to Goloka, we can't even realize what it is going to be. Yes. So what's next? Okay, as if the fear of Hiranyakashipu, the planet Earth, which consists of 7 islands, delivered food grains without being even plowed. Wow. Thus it resembled cows like the Surabhi of the spiritual world or the Kamaduga of heaven. The earth yielded sufficient food grains, the cows supplied abundant milk, and outer space was beautifully decorated and wonderful phenomena. See, if this all would have happened based on the love for Hiranyakashipu, that was different. But this all happened because of fear for Hiranyakashipu. That's the whole thing. He's using his power to get all this done because everyone is afraid. So everyone, including the rulers of various planets, was extremely distressed because of the severe punishment inflicted upon by Hiranyakashipu. Fearful and disturbed, unable to find any other shelter, they all at last surrendered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu. They all had to go to Vishnu and start praying him, like, okay, please save us. This is really intolerable for all of us. Can you please save us, the Lord? Because it's beyond Brahmaji, like, because he gave his boon, so now it's different level actually. So what happens? Like, yes, then when they were praying, the Devatas, the voice of the Lord vibrated as follows: "Oh, best of learned persons, do not fear. I wish all good fortune to you. Become my devotees by hearing and chanting about me and offering my prayers. for these are certainly meant to award benedictions to all living entities. I know all about the activities of Hiranyakashipu and shall surely stop them very soon. Please wait patiently until that time. So when is the time? Okay, that also said here. When Hiranyakashipu teases the great devotee of Prahlada, his own son, who is peaceful and sober and who has no enemy, I shall kill Hiranyakashipu immediately despite the benedictions of Brahma. So Lord Vishnu has personally promised to the Devatas, hey, yes, I will come at a right time. When my pure devotee is being tortured, yes, I will be there to kill and finish him. So he says that, right? So Hiranyakashipu had actually 4 wonderful sons, well-qualified sons, of whom the one named Prahlada was the best. Indeed, Prahlada was a reservoir of all transcendental qualities because he was an unalloyed devotee of the personality of Godhead. Okay, nice. Okay, so this is what Prabhupada always says, the hands matter. If there is a knife given to a doctor, so he performs for the surgery and he can save a person. But at the same time, if a knife is given to a thief, he can kill a person. So that's what it matters. In whose hand it is, it matters. And they should take the responsibility to it, right? So that's important here. And next one is interesting story I wanted to say here. So this is from my Guru Maharaj, like he quoted in one of his lecture. And obviously he also quotes, this is from Prabhupada. So this is a story of a cat and a mouse. Okay. So there was a mouse which was there and cat was there. Obviously when cat and mouse are there, what happens? Mickey Mouse. Yeah, cat goes and catch the mouse. So during that time, okay, when it was happening, so rat was running around to save himself, and then he met a sage. And then he requested the sage, Sage, can you please help me now? Okay, I am in trouble. So sage said, okay, Tatastu, I will now make you as a cat so that you don't have to be now worried about it. So, okay, so now the mouse became a cat as such. So now what happened? So it became a cat now. It was roaming around. Now a dog started chasing the cat. Right? So now again the cat doesn't know what to do. It again ran to the sage and said, Sage, please help, save me now. What should I do now? Okay. So sage said, okay, don't worry. I will now change you to the dog. Okay. Now dog. Fine. Okay. Now dog was roaming around, and then there was a tiger which came in, and then it started chasing the dog. So dog again started running away, and then again it went to the sage. Sage, please save me. Like, okay. Then sage said, okay, I will make you as a tiger now. Okay, so that the tiger doesn't disturb you. Okay, after making a tiger, what happened? That tiger went around, and then it came to the sage and said like, okay, now I'm hungry, let me eat you. See how it is. So sage was the person who helped the mouse to move to a tiger. So it thought like, now the tiger thought, I am independent. I have now everything to perform on my own. So he did not even realize that who has created him, who has helped him to be there. So the soul did not understand what it is. So he thought, I am independent. Now, obviously a sage can make a mouse to a cat, to a dog, to a tiger. Now sage can make the mouse back into a mouse. That's the reality of life as such. And Kali Yuga, like, yes, we all should understand, yes, whatever the work we do, it has to be for the Supreme Lord, Krishna. So if we have to please ourselves to our senses, because when we have the power, when we have everything, ego kicks up, power, okay, hey, I have everything, why should I listen to you? I will do this, I can do this, I have everything. No, then it is going to be difficult. We can become a mouse anytime. So that's what it's going to be. So we should really realize what is power. So, okay, demonizing divine boons, misusing power leads to destruction. What are the realizations? Just like a bully man misused one's power to obsess the weak, Hiranyakashipu have gained great boons from Brahma, used his power to torture innocent people. With power comes great responsibility. Power used to fulfill evil intentions is harmful to oneself and others. Although Demons like Hiranyakashipu may receive the greatest of powers and best of facilities, they remain unsatisfied at heart because he was satisfied his senses. If we misuse the power we have, power will not come to our risk when we need it to the most. So such was the case with Hiranyakashipu also. Now he has misused his power. And obviously the power without devotion becomes a poison. So that's what we all should really understand. Okay, now without wasting time, we'll go to the third lesson. Virtuous son of a vicious father. Inspiration from a guru, actually. So in the meantime, when Hiranyakashipu went for tapasya, so his wife was actually carrying. Okay, so she was carrying obviously Prahlad Maharaj, Kayadu. So what happened? So these all people, Devadas, were thinking, hey, he's doing now tapasya. Now he's the great Asura. Now let go and conquer his kingdom. So that's what all these Devatas who was heading it? Indra was heading it. And they came to arrest Kayadu and then take her away. So their intention was, okay, when they were doing it, actually, because they just really grabbed her and they were pulling her around. Obviously, she was pregnant and she's carrying Prahlad Maharaj. Narada Muni came in between, like, he came and said, like, Devatas, what are you all doing it? So why are you doing this? She's a sinless person and you cannot do this. Even though it's Hiranyakashipu's wife, it's nothing she did it. So you cannot disturb her. Then they started explaining, no, our intention, Narada Muni, it's like, because he's a pure devotee of the Lord, like, okay, he has authority and then people listen to him. So then Indra said, like, no, our intention is not to kill Kayadu. Our intention is to kill the baby from her womb, the boy, once he's born, like, yes, we wanted to kill him. So we don't want to kill her. Then Narada Muni said, in any case, like, no, that is not acceptable. You cannot do that. So you have to leave her and she has to live. And that baby which is going to come out, it's going to be a greatest devotee of the Lord. So he will be like spoken in any of the yugas. So you cannot disturb him. You are not going to kill. So by listening to the words of Narada Muni, yes, all the Devatas left and they even felt sorry to the Kayadu and then they went to their places. And then Kayadu was still not happy, like, yeah, she was still afraid, like, okay, what is going to happen to me? Like, she was very anxious, like, afraid. Because for her, baby was important, husband is not around, so she was anxious. So Narada Muni took her to his ashram and said, like, okay, this is a very safest place. You can surely stay here and you will be taken care very nicely. So with the trust, yes, Kayadu went to Narada Muni's ashram and she started living there. So during that time, yes, she was serving Narada Muni very well, and whatever happening. And her intention was like, she did not want to deliver the baby in between. She wanted to deliver after the Hiranyakashipu wanted to. When Hiranyakashipu wanted to come only, like once she comes, yeah, she wanted to deliver the baby. So she was holding the baby as such. And during the time when she was serving Narada Muni was giving lot of Upadesa to the Kayadu actually. He was giving so much philosophical, he was talking about like bhakti very nicely to Kayadu. But obviously Kayadu is really anxious. Her whole thing was she has to deliver the baby very nicely and her husband has to come. So her mind was always into that. Even though whatever Narada Muni said, she took only whatever she can. But no, anyway, she was helpless in a way like. But what happened, the baby inside, Prahlad Maharaj, was hearing whatever Narada Muni was saying about like, okay, about the Lord, what is bhakti, how to perform it, everything, whatever Narada Muni, because it was thousands of years, like, okay, what Narada Muni was explaining, Prahlad Maharaj was hearing, the baby was hearing. And yes, so he got enlightened, which we will see later, but yes, this is what the third lesson. So what is the realization here like? Virtuous son of a vicious father, inspiration from Guru. Prahlada was an unborn child in his mother's womb when he received spiritual inspiration from Narada Muni. Although he belonged to the Asura clan, he did not prevent the flow of inspiration to perform bhakti. Thus, inspiration in bhakti does not depend on external condition like age, caste, dynasty, etc. Bhakti is completely independent. the stream of devotional inspiration flows smoothly when the teacher is potent and the student is sincere. So let's pace up our devotion with the foundation of inspiration with our hearts. So that's actually it's said same teacher, same class, same syllabus, but here the results are different because inspiration needs receptivity. That is important. Without inspiration, nothing can change. Right. We'll go to the fourth one. Unwavering devotion, fearlessness. Okay, now Hiranyakashipu is back with the boon. He got everything. Now he's ruling everything. Now Prahlad Maharaj is also like around 5 years old. He's born safe. Everything is good. So next is excuse. Yeah. So one day, Hiranyakashipu calls and then he gives to the two of the Brahmana disciples to coach him. So who are those two Brahmana disciples? Yeah, Sukracharya's son. Yeah, Sandana Marka. Correct. So those two are the people who are going to coach Prahlad Maharaj. So yes, Prahlad Maharaj said, okay, let me go to the class now. And he started understanding. But what was his coaching has to be, what Hiranyakashipu has instructed his coaches to be, his teachers to be like, it all has to be a diplomatic, materialistic, how to get wealth, how to acquire other people wealth, whatever it is, like it's all completely into the, how to differentiate people actually. That was his other point, differentiate who is a friend, who is the enemy. So that's how Hiranyakashipu has asked the teachers to teach him. So after some time, one day, came in, Hiranyakashipu called Prahlad Maharaj and made him sit on his lap. Okay, he then affectionately asked, hey, my dear son, how are you studying at school? Please tell me about your favorite subject. And always Prahlad Maharaj is always submissive. We all know that. Whenever he meets his father, he really pay obeisances. And Prahlad Maharaj, Hiranyakashipu obviously feels happy about it. Like, oh, okay, my son is so obedient. He's so nice to me, whatever. So now Prahlad Maharaj replies, dear father, I think the best activity for all living beings is to give up their selfish nature and the thoughts and I and mine. Therefore, everyone should give up their materialistic household life. Go to the forest of Vrindavan and take complete shelter. My God. So this is what Prahlad Maharaj informed his dad. So obviously, Hiranyakashipu is not happy. This is the first time. So Hiranyakashipu thought oh, okay. So something happened to him. Maybe some bad people came of his enemy, came into and influenced his son actually into the school. So he just saw his teachers, what's happening. The teacher said, no, we did not even teach him. So this time Hiranyakashipu was merciful on his teachers also. Okay, I said, next time please take care of it. So he gave time and then he asked them, he warned them and then he moved. And then when Hiranyakashipu sent the Prahlada out, then Sanda Namarka asked to Prahlada, dear child, all good fortune unto you. Please tell us the truth. Who has polluted your intelligence? Other boys did not speak like you. Where did you learn all this bhakti philosophy from? We never taught this for you. Hari and his devotees are our enemies, so how can you praise him? So Prahlad politely replied, my dear teachers, no one is our enemy. Everyone is a child of God. I offer my respects to Lord Hari, by whose grace one's bad intelligence is destroyed. My intelligence is different from yours because of Lord Hari, your so-called enemy. My consciousness is naturally attracted to Lord Vishnu, just as iron is naturally attracted to a magnet, which is the fact. So this is what he explained. The teachers are confused. Okay, then they said still, okay, you need really a punishment. So Santa Anvarka said, we will teach you now. Okay, but Prahlad Maharaj is still not interested. He keeps listening, but he knows what he has to do. So times passed away. Then another time came in. And during this time again, Hiranyakashipu called, okay, hey Prahlad, come over. Let's discuss okay, what is happening. And that day his mother actually nicely dressed him. Okay, everything has happened. So he went. He paid obeisances and then he's talking to Prahlad. He's talking to his dad. Okay, now he had asked, Prahlad Maharaj said, dad asked, okay, hey, now say what did you learn from your teachers? So now he did not ask what did you like. Now he asked what did your teachers teach? But Hiranyakashipu did not know he had two different teachers. One is his spiritual teacher Narada Muni, and he had a material teacher Sandhanamarka. So he started talking about wonderful things. Sri Prahlada Vacha, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dashyam, Sakyam, Atma Niveditam. So Prahlad Maharaj started talking about 9 ways of doing the bhakti. Shravanam, hearing about Lord's Hari, is explaining. Kirtanam, chanting Hari's name and pastimes. Smaranam, remembering the Lord. Pada Sevanam, serving his lotus feet. Archanam, worshipping his deity. Vandanam, offering prayers unto him. Dashyam, becoming his servant. Sakyam, considering him as a best friend. Atmani Veditam, complete surrender. My God. So he has explained so much. And Hiranyakashipu became very furious. Hey, you unqualified. He started seeing the teachers and said, you unqualified Brahmanas, you have disobeyed my orders, and taught his poor boy nonsensical philosophy about Vishnu, our sworn enemy. You are the enemies in the disguise of friends. And Sandhanamarka replied, oh king, we never taught him anything. It all comes from him automatically. So, and then Hiranyakashipu again said, hey, you, Prahlad, you are the disgrace of our family. If gurus have not taught this, how did you develop this devotional mentality? Prahlad politely replied, dear father, bhakti unto Krishna is not developed by those who are not self-controlled. Because of their self-controlled senses, they enter hellish life and repeatedly chew and chewed. That is, desire some temporary pleasures. They don't understand that Lord Vishnu is their real shelter and goal. They become ambitious to enjoy in this world. They become blind to spiritual life, following other blind people. Thus, they are strongly bound by the ropes of material miseries. On the other hand, those who take shelter of pure devotees and serve Lord Vishnu with love and freed from the cycle of repeated birth and death and ultimately enter Vaikunta, the Lord's eternal abode. This is what he replied. So his dad, we know what he would have done. He just throwed Prahlad from his lap. He fell down and he just... Yes, so what is the realization here? Can a tender child face a ferocious demon? Generally, a child fears being scolded and chastised by a strict elder. But little Prahlada fearlessly opposed the mentality of his atheistic father and teachers. He was polite and humble, yet he never compromised by his devotion to Lord Vishnu. Such fearlessness and humility are the natural symptoms of devotion of God. When one becomes fully independent on the Lord, one is devoid in all material fears. However, when we turn our face away from God, we are naturally situated amidst fear and anxieties. Fixing our hearts on the Lord will frighten the fear in us. That's important. Fearlessness. Okay. The next is shield of devotion, tolerance. So that is very much important in today's, even for us. So when I came to the temple, I realized I forgot my mobile phone today. So that is the first tolerance today I had it. So I'm saying, even small things today, we all lose patience, no tolerance. So that is very much important. So yeah, so what? The shield of devotion. I think we have only 5 more minutes. So what I'll do is, I'll make it quick. So now Hiranyakashipu got angry. And then he has instructed his servants and demons to make sure, like, to torture him to any extent to kill Prahlad Maharaj. So in Bhagavatam, it is said like, he was attacked by soldiers, tramped by elephants, surrounded by deadly snakes, pushed from a mountain, starved, poised, and exposed to fire and cold. These all happened. But it's also said it is 1,000 more times, like in a different ways, Hiranyakashipu had asked Prahlad to make him die as such. But nothing happened. Instead, Prahlad, you see in the last picture, like he was in the fire, but still Prahlad Maharaj is chanting. So that is what like his devotion was. He was so humble, he was nothing. And whenever the servants take him to kill him, he just talks to them and he prays for them like, okay, you are doing this, okay, I'll pray for you also, like you are doing something wrong. But he started, whatever, he started praying for the people like who is going to kill him also. That much tolerance he had it actually. So that's where we see the tolerance here. So what is the realization we can take away from here is, if the Lord decides to save a person, nobody can harm him. And if the Lord decides to punish a person, nobody can save him. The Lord personally takes the responsibility of protecting his faithful devotees from all dangers. Faith in God's protection is very rare. It is easier to think of one's happiness and success as God sent, but when one faces difficulties and failures, one doubts the Lord's mercy really. But the stories of great devotees like Prahlada, who remained undisturbed and tolerant even midst severe difficulties, can inculcate faith in the Lord's protection. Prahlada did not protest, blame others, or give up his devotion when he was tortured. He peacefully remembered the Lord and tolerated everything, trusting that Krishna is in control. Prahlada shows that tolerance becomes natural when we are convinced the Lord is our protector and well-wisher. Then others' harsh words or actions cannot shake our inner peace. So that's important. Today we think like, okay, someone says something, oh no, it is not right, it is not bad. We don't ready to hear or take what is, but it's okay. That's what in Bhagavatam, Prabhupada quotes like, Bhagavatam, there are three modes of people are there, right? Sattva-guna, Guna and Rajaguna. So Bhagavatam, it says like if one person is not in Sattva-guna, who is following the other two, they are equivalent to a drunkards. So if drunkards come and shouts, are we all ready to hear from him? No, we just say like, no, what are you trying to say? You are drunk. So that's what Prabhupada says like. So as long we are in that mode, no point. You can be tolerant. You just take it and leave it here as long it is not good. So that's the sin. So spirituality in an atheistic school, knowledge transmission. Prabhuji, can we take 5-10 minutes? Is that okay? I'm sorry. Right. Spirituality in an atheistic school, knowledge transmission. So after Sandhan Amarka, like, okay, Sri Gauranitai ki jai, Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki jai, Prabhuji ki jai, Hare Krishna. Okay, spirituality in an atheistic school, knowledge transformation. When Sandhan Amarka, like after all this tortured which Prahlad Maharaj faced, he was not dying, and Hiranyakashipu was really unhappy. So Hiranyakashipu was sitting in his palace, whatever. Then Sandhan Amarka went to him and said, Hiranyakashipu, like the king, you don't have to be worried about Prahlad, because he's still young. Maybe like when he grows up, like up to 10 years, whatever, like yeah, he may be like getting better. He may be like forgetting, and he may become a good asura as such. So that's where he started. They convinced him. And Prahlad Maharaj got into the school as such. But again, whenever the teachers are not there, so what Prahlad Maharaj does, like, okay, he talks all good things, whatever, he talks all the 9 processes of bhakti, he talks Lord Vishnu, he glorifies him so much, and even all the small boys, like, okay, who are all from Asura background, but still, when they hear the pure, and when it came from pure Prahlad, so they also started liking it, and they also asked Prahlad Maharaj like, you are small, but how do you know all this? Then Prahlad Maharaj explained to them like, okay, even when I was in the womb of my mother, yes, I heard from Narada Muni. So that's where I got all this knowledge, all this bhakti. But it is pure, like, okay, that's what he was explaining, and the boys were like always happy to take it, like, okay, and they were also. But these ones like, one day, like, okay, suddenly, like, when Sandhan Amarka saw this, they were like, what's happening here? Because the boys, what I am teaching, it's not. They're all chanting now. Hari, Hari, like, they started chanting. What's going to happen now? They are going to be caught. Then they went into the next, okay, I'll just quickly read. Spirituality in an atheistic school, knowledge transformation. Narada Muni inspired Prahlad to take the devotion when he was still in his mother's womb. Later, Prahlad Maharaj passed all those teaching to his classmate, thus inspiring them. The effectiveness of one's teachings depends on how sincerely one has heard and followed the Guru's teachings, and how transparently one transmits from them to others. Because Prahlad sincerely followed Narada Muni's teaching, he could pass on that knowledge to his friends. Thus, authentic devotional knowledge is always passed down by a succession of genuine teachers and the student called as a parampara. Actually, here we have to see to the material point. Prahlada did not forward any WhatsApp messages. He just forwarded his realization. That is the true fact, actually. That's what people were ready, all the students were ready to take it. Okay, next comes the important thing. God in the pillar, unflinching faith. So now Sanda and Amarka went to Hiranyakashipu and they said like, the king, now it is beyond our thing also. Now Prahlad has gone to the next level. He started changing all the people. It's not getting out of our thing. Then Hiranyakashipu got really very angry. And then he was talking to Prahlad like, hey Prahlad, what are you trying to do? Because when he called Prahlad was not afraid, not whatever. He did not show anything. He was so humble. He again paid obeisances and he was like, he stood in front of us, very silent. No anxiety, nothing. He was not even, nothing. He was. And by seeing that, Hiranyakashipu got annoyed like, how I am planning to kill you. I am going to take your head off now. And you are still not afraid of it? He said like, no, I am not even afraid. Because it can be from Brahma, Shiva or whomever it is, any part of the thing. It's all on Krishna. What you are going to do, nothing is going to affect me as such. So that's what he spoke. Now Hiranyakashipu got more angry. Like now you're talking about Krishna, whatever it is. So where is he like? I have never seen him. I also wanted to meet him. That's what he was asking Prahlad. And then he said like, Prahlad, what would have answered? He said, he's everywhere. And now he had asked, who? Hiranyakashipu asked, okay, is he in this pillar because he was near the pillar? He asked, yes. And Prahlad said, yes, he's in the pillar too. He's everywhere. And okay, he took his sword and he was damaging the pillar. And then he started hearing a sound which he has never heard. And the sound is not so easy to even understand. Okay, they were not able to understand. And again, he started hitting it. And then, yes, that's where Narasimhadeva really came in to save his devotee, Prahlad Maharaj. So that was so good. And again, obviously we all know like how Narasimhadeva killed Hiranyakashipu with all the boons, like he was completely different. He came with half lion and half man. So all this we know. So what is the lesson we can take here is God in the pillar, unflinching. Our unmoving and firm faith in something is called conviction. Devotees who deeply love God are conceived about his presence everywhere. But an atheistic person devoid of love of God does not even believe in his existence. Although having no qualification to see God, such a person challenges to the devotees to show God. Of course, the Lord is not obliged to reveal himself to such people. But when the trouble the devotees, the Lord indeed comes to protect his devotees. One must first understand from the scripture that the Lord is everywhere, and then we must worship him with devotion. Then gradually, by the Lord's mercy, one will see his presence everywhere. Right? Wonderful. So we'll go to the last lesson. The love of Lord Narasimha with the intensity. So once he is killed, we know Narasimhadeva was such a ugra god, like no one was able to pacify him. Even his own wife, like Lakshmi Devi, said, like, no, I cannot even pacify him. And Brahmaji, Shiva, everyone tried their best, but no one can pacify him. And then he went to Brahma. Brahma then went to Lakshmi. No, she said no. She went to then finally to Prahlad. Prahlad said, I am an unqualified person, Brahmaji, because I'm from Asura family. How can I purify? How can I go and please the Lord? Then Brahmaji explained, no, even though you are from Asura family, the Lord came to protect you. So more than that, what you need? So then when Prahlad heard that, okay, he humbly went to Narasimhadeva. Okay, he has put the garland, and then yes, Narasimhadeva was really pacified. And yes, there were a lot of prayers, but obviously this is going to be a big lessons if you have to hear that. But yes, the prayers of Prahlad Maharaj, when Narasimhadeva asked, Prahlad, what do you want? What is the benediction you wanted? He said, I don't want anything. I don't want anything. Because for me, I learned whatever from my guru like Narada Muni. I wish that you give a benediction that he be my guru for birth and birth after birth. I will really be happy for it. But again, obviously Narasimhadeva gave everything whatever he has to, because he was ruling the kingdom. Hiranyakashipu has demolished everything. No Vedas, no Brahmanas, nothing. He was really... But when Prahlad Maharaj took over, like, yes, he has again taken care of all the proper Vedas, proper Brahmanas, he paid them rightly. So everything, even though he's from Asura family, but yes, he made it everything perfectly based on the Dharma. And Prahlad Maharaj, not only that, he also prayed, he also asked Narasimhadev, like, I am fine as such, because I am always in the mood of thinking of you, Lord Vishnu, but please help the other people, like, okay, who are fallen souls, how they can come back to you. So please take care of them, is what, like, he's asking Narasimhadev. So what is the lesson we can take of Incity is like, both a candle and a 2000 volts bulb can light up a dark room. But when the dim candle flame illuminates only a corner of the room, the bulb brightens up the entire room. Similarly, if one's practice of bhakti is weak and wavering like a flame of a candle, one cannot derive the full mercy of the Lord. Progress in bhakti depends on the intent and intensity of one's practice. One who performs bhakti selfishly and irregularly cannot experience the real pressure of bhakti offers. Drawing inspiration from the character of little Prahlada, let's take a baby steps to intensify our absorption in the practice of bhakti. So this is important. And Prahlad Maharaj did not practice bhakti as a part-time, correct? Did he practice it as a full-time? No. He did it all the time. No. For us, full time is 9 to 8, 9 to 5. I'm just kidding. But yes, he did it all the time. So that is the mood which we have to all take it from Prahlad Maharaj. That is, we have to always serve him very nicely. So Prahlad Maharaj, okay, I put like 8 lessons, but all this converge into one truth. When you surrender to Krishna, everything becomes worship, austerity becomes purification, power becomes service, learning becomes transmission, fear becomes courage, torture becomes tolerance, knowledge becomes realization, doubt becomes faith, and every moment becomes sacred. That's important. So tomorrow morning, when you face a challenge, a difficult boss, a critical parent, an unfair situation, inner doubt, remember Prahlada was not perfect. He was 5. He was alone. His father was a demon. And yet, he remained convinced of one thing. Krishna is in control. That conviction is what changed everything for him. Not his circumstances, not his family, not his education, his inner certainty. Pick whatever the lessons we all can take from Prahlad Maharaj. Obviously, this is a year end. I think next week when we meet, it's going to be a new year. So we will all have a new lessons for ourselves and relish much more and inculcate. Okay. So now we will just chant one time Hare Krishna Mahamantra and close the class. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Please forgive me, like if I have stated anything mistakenly. Please share if any comments and questions. Yeah, I'll be happy. Prahlad Maharaj ki jai, Narasimha Bhagwan ki jai. Hare Krishna. I'm very sorry, like I went overboard. I'm sorry for it.
Hare Krishna. Let's thank His Grace Vijay Govindchandra Prabhu for wonderfully summarizing